How are you, great people? Are you there and you're working in a stressful environment or you're working with very difficult bosses? Here are some of the tips that you may need to know and even apply them for you to be able to cope and even survive in that environment and become very productive, maybe until the next door opens or you just transition when your time is over. So I want to give about 8 points on how to work in a difficult environment or how to work or working with very difficult people. The first thing you need to embrace is excellence. Pursue excellence, and so that no one can lay question the way you work. Excellence is where you're able to finish your assignments in good time and even being above board or blameless. Just make sure that you are at work in good time and you also minimize errors as you work within, as long as it's within your power. Excellence is one thing, no one will question you because you are above board in the execution of your duties. Number two, mind your business. Avoid poking your nose into people's private matters. Avoid discussing your colleagues and even your bosses with your friends within the same work environment, because some of them may even leak that information to your bosses and it can really get you into problem. And of course, minimize your words, minimize your discussions of that nature. Mind your business, mind your work. If you have to really talk, make sure it is very social, it is general talk, not nose, poking your nose into people's private matters. The other thing is look for a fallback position. This is a social group or a close friends where you can just go and vent, not necessarily very private matters, but where you can go and have fun and talk. Also, a fallback position can be a family if you have one, or if you are lucky to have a good family. If you are married out there and you have a good wife or spouse, you can just go and talk it out and share and vent. And also, God, if you are a religious person, you can go and pray and seek God. Whenever you find yourself under pressure from your place of work, a fallback position is very important. You need a social fallback position, you need a family fallback position, a spiritual fallback position. Now, the other thing, I think, behave well during the end of the year parties, or whenever you have these corporate events like parties and in the company. It may not necessarily be the end of the year, because during this time people may get overexcited, and when people are overexcited, normally they leak information. They say things that they wouldn't have said in a normal working time or setting, and that's how even some bosses gather grapevine intelligence or information which they wouldn't have managed to get in a normal working environment. And some people even have gotten drunk, because sometimes they even supply beer there. And people get drunk and they speak things that they wouldn't have spoken out there. Some of them have even indulged in illicit sexual activities, even losing their marriages, because some of the colleagues will even go back and report to their spouses how their wives or their husband behaved during that end of the year party. And mostly these parties are away from the normal working environment. Some employers will take their workers out for 2 or 3 days. And normally these are moments when, if you're not careful, if you're not able to control yourself, you can actually misbehave and end up losing your job or your marriage or even your value, your worth, your respect. Now, the other thing is keep on improving yourself. Grab that opportunity to acquire new skill sets as you work. Get more papers if possible. Go back to school. Attend that seminar. Even on online YouTube channels, you can actually improve your skills or relevant skills in the phase of your work, even through online channels like YouTube. And so make sure you are doing self-improvement. You are improving yourself on a daily basis. The other thing you need to do while working in such a difficult environment or working with very difficult bosses, uphold high moral standards. Don't go to bed with your boss. Don't go to bed with your colleagues, because anytime you do that, You lose your integrity, also your productivity because of familiarity. Wherever familiarity comes in, it affects productivity of the employees, because once you get familiar to your boss, you not respect them, do not respect you, you better lose your job than compromise in this area, because normally people will engage in illicit sexual activities, maybe to get some favors, not necessarily because they are actually looking forward to getting married. I know there are people who have ever found their wives and their husbands in a work-related environment. That is different, because you end up getting married. But if it is just for the sake of a pleasure and worldly pleasure, where you are seeking special favors, especially women employees, that can actually affect your productivity in that office, even affecting your relationship with your bosses, or if that engagement was between colleagues. So make sure you uphold high moral standards. Even your dress code, let it not be so much inviting, just be modesty. As one of the great speakers, Dr. Monroe, said that anytime you dress sexually provocatively, or you are dressed in a sexually provocative manner, you become a sexual object instead of a source of admiration. And I like that, and I agree with that. Don't import your private matters into your work. Don't discuss your spouse issues or your wife matters, your husband matters into the office, because you'll always lose a lot of respect from the people that you're discussing your very private matters with. There are people who will bring their home issues, their family issues into the office, and thinking that they'll get sympathy, only that to end up losing a lot of respect. Even when later maybe your colleagues happen to meet your spouse, they will even disrespect them because of the things you told them about them. Now, the other thing is prepare for exit. If you're working in a very difficult and hostile work-related environment, or very harsh bosses, there is a likelihood one day you might meet that dismissal letter. So it is good to be always ready for anything. Prepare for exit. How do you prepare for exit? You can have a startup, or what they call side hustle, or something that can cushion you in the event that you lose your job. You can do this maybe through savings, or you can start some form of investment. You buy assets just in case you lose your job today. You can maybe liquidate 2 or 3, and in the meantime, as you look for another job, or as you settle down, maybe planning to start another business or move to the next level, you can survive for 2 or 3 years with that. The other thing is maybe getting another job. Okay, if you have been improving yourself, you've gained enough experience, you can think of maybe getting another job somewhere where you think it is safer, and where the environment is not as difficult, or where maybe the systems of, like in government offices or in other corporate organizations, you may find that there are places where there aren't very harsh working environment because of the nature of the company. But I don't think there is any place where you will find a very smooth working environment without crashing. But there are places where that is also minimized because of the systems that are in place. So prepare for exit, because anytime anything can happen. You can also prepare to exit to another department within the same organization. My name is Wilson Mutoa, coming to you from Grace Impact Center. Wish you well.